Hi, it's Sarah here from Crafting and Stamping, and I'm here for our online workshop, our monthly online workshop. So without too much further ado, we're going to get started. So I'm going to just turn this around so that we can see my desk and just try and get things up on the computer, hopefully. So I'm going to just switch round now. Let's get this. There we are. Hi Terry, great to have you here. So there we go, I think that should be okay. So hopefully all is well with that, and I'm hoping that that's going to come up soon so that I can see. Oh, right, not coming up on my computer yet, but I'll have a quick look over the top and see if I can see. Right, okay, so tonight we're going to be doing mainly Christmas projects, but we've got a birthday project in here as well. And of course, although I'm doing them as Christmas projects, they don't have to be Christmas. So if you don't celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate some other festival, feel free to change up the sentiments and make these projects your own. As always, to watch this, there is absolutely no charge. However, if you want to use my code and order from me for any of these items, then there are some goodies in store for you. Any order of any size, you're going to get a thank you through the post from me. If you spend over £30, then you're going to get our monthly ideas tutorial bundle, which is a bundle of projects from demonstrators around the world using Stampin' Up products, and there's a whole load of tutorials in there. It's emailed out to you. If you spend over £50, then as well as the thank you and the tutorial bundle, you're going to get this make and take pack, and you'll get the instructions emailed to you as a reminder of what we've gone through tonight, and I'll send a link back to this video, provided it records okay, for you to be able to craft along at home once you get your pack. If you spend over £70, then as well as the thank you card, the ideas tutorial bundle, the make and take pack, you're also going to get a pack of 24 sheets of 6x6 DSP. It will be retired patterns, it will be mainly DSP, and there'll be a few specialty paper sheets in there as well. So please do consider giving me an order so that I can continue to provide these goodies for you. So I'm still trying to find my watch. Oh, here we go, found it. Let's see if we can get that working. Right, so like I say, tonight we're going to be using some new goodies that have come out just this month from Stampin' Up. I've put a video of these goodies in my YouTube and on my website, so please do go and have a little look there to find out the full details of the papers, the dies, the stamps, etc. But I'm going to show you a couple of the dies tonight because we're going to be using them on these projects, so I'll give a little bit more detail about those as we go along. So let's get started. The first card I'm going to make is a Christmas design, and I'll just pull in a second another Christmas design that I have done with this. This went out on my blog on Monday, so you can see somewhat similar, just a little. So we're going to be making something with this. Now, like I say, the dies have got lots of goodies in them. There we go, I knew there was another pearl. Let's put that there. And as well as the ovals that we've got here, I've also used the dies to cut out these two little leaves as well, which are great. Now, as you can see, the paper looks quite like mistletoe to me. I think that looks like mistletoe. So I think this makes a great Christmas paper. So I'm just going to put the insert on one side for the moment. Now, before we get started, I thought I would show you, I have emptied my stamping seal. You can tell that because we've got the big red mark there that shows that we've come to the end. So I thought I'd show you how we replace this and just a little tip that I've got for looking after your seal. So I've got some rubbing alcohol and I've got some kitchen towel. This particular one is the full 99.9%, but I have one that's a little less. Rubbing alcohol is something that I do use in the craft room on a regular basis for cleaning my tools and also for a few techniques as well. So I've just put a bit of rubbing alcohol on here and I'm just going to use it to clean up the outside of my stamping seal. It just helps get rid of some of the sticky that tends to get gunked up on the outside. So there we are, turn it over and just dry it off. So that's got that clean on the outside. Now what we do is we just gently pull this apart and just get that, there we are, like that. And all we have to do, get my next one ready. We just take out the one that's finished and we put the new one in, positioning it over those crosses that we've got in there. Push it all the way down so it sits firmly, then pop the other half back on top, press it together all the way around, make sure that that's done, and there we've got our stamping seal done. So the thing is that you buy the stamping seal and it comes like this, but the refill packs come like this and they're cheaper. So please don't keep buying a full unit, buy the refill. Once you've got a full unit, you just take it apart, put your refill in and you're good to go. So right, so I'm going to just pop the paper onto the card front. It's Evening Evergreen card front that I've got here, and just get that even around like that. And for this I'm going to use actually one of my older Christmas sets, and I'm going to use the Thinking of You This Festive Season. So I'll grab a block, and because it's photopolymer, I'm going to get my mat for this to be able to stamp on here. That's sticking to the board better than it is my block. And if it does get like that, again, I really need to do a bit of cleaning like I've just done with the seal. You can clean your blocks if stamps aren't sticking too well to them, but the other reason it could not be sticking is that the stamp has picked up bits of dust and dog hair possibly on the back, so it might not be sticking as well because of that. The photopolymer can just be run under the tap with some soapy water, rinse and leave to dry. So I'm going to use Evening Evergreen ink and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. Actually, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to use one of the little stamps from the Framed Florets stamp set. This is part of this new suite. And I'm just going to use this little one because again I think it looks like mistletoe. So ink that up, and I'm going to do this first because I'm going to stamp this at the top. I'm just going to get my oval kind of centred and stamp that at the top there like that. So I'll just ink that again, and then I can stamp my sentiment beneath that bit of mistletoe. And again, having the grid in the background just helps me keep things reasonably straight. So there we are. And now a little tip for this, because I want to pop this up, and I found a good way to do this is to pop that back inside but face down, and then grab my dimensionals, make sure that it's in the middle like that, and then pop the dimensionals over the join, making sure they're not sticking out at the sides. And I'm fairly generous with these because I think it just helps keep both frames in place. So I'm going to pop them on like that. So that's joining the inner and the outer frame together. So we've got those. Now that was using this. So this, as you can see, if I just bring it up to the light a bit more, you can see it's got a ridged edge to it. And that gets cut out with that oval. And it cuts out an outer oval, this dark green one here, and it cuts out an inner oval, which I did from Basic White. Now, quite often I'll cut the whole bit out in whichever colour and just save whichever bit I'm not using for another project another day. But if you wanted to and you're being frugal with your card, then you could just cut out the segment that you need. So I'm going to just take all of those backings off, and then we're going to pop this. I'm going to pop it a little bit high, kind of even borders side and top. Okay, and like I say, I've got these little leaves. The dies, let me find them and bring them in. We actually have 2 dies that go in different directions, which is lovely. I like it when they do the symmetrical ones. So now for putting these on, I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to put a few little dots down the centre stem like that, and turn that around, and I just want to get that about in the centre there. So I'm just going to need to move it over a little bit so I don't cover up my text there. And then the same thing here, we're going to put some little dabs of glue on. I'm doing it that way. Another way of doing it is to actually squeeze a bit of glue onto a silicone sheet and then dab it on actually with your fingers. Now I have squished a little bit out there, so I'm just going to try and clear that with my fingers now. It will dry clear, so you won't notice it so much. And then we've got these dinky little iridescent pearls. Again, I thought this mimics the the look of having mistletoe, so I thought we'd have a central larger one and a couple of little ones on either side like that. And just to show you, the iridescent pearls are like that, so you don't get big pearls, you just get these two small sizes. So, and that's our outside. So for the inside, I'm just going to use, again, let me bring it back in, the Merriest Moments, and I'm going to take the Season's Greetings and use this. Let's grab a longer block. Now we've also got those stamps, either stamps from the Merriest Moments or from the framed florets, that you could also stamp inside this as well if you wanted to. I'm just going to use a little bit of DSP left over from the card front. So, and again, I want my mat, just move that over. And I need to be careful, I've got ink on my block, so I need to be careful not to rock that and transfer it to the card. There we are. So I'll clean that in a second. And I'm managing to get ink on my fingers. Not a true crafter if you don't. So, like I said, the other video that I've done already, you can get to see. That's my older one, that's the new clean one I've just used. The video that I've already done gives you a better look at the different DSP and the rest of the dies that come with this, because it is a really great die set. I wanted it mainly for the dies, but as always, I like to get a bundle if they have one, because it's just great value. And at the moment you can get the DSP. The DSP is only available until the 4th of January, or while stocks last. And it works beautifully with the stamps and dies. So I really would recommend getting it. The stamps and dies are going to be available in the January to June mini catalogue, so you will still be able to get those, but you won't be able to get the papers, and you won't be able to get the little gold adhesive swirls, which I'll show you if I get a chance. So that is our first card tonight, done as more of a Christmas card, like I said, and quite similar in some ways to the one that I did earlier in the week. So I'll set those to one side for now, and we'll move on to something that is more of a birthday card. Again, this is another pattern of the DSP that we've got, and I just want to show you, if you get a pack from me, you'll get a longer piece of ribbon. I've cut this short to just demonstrate something to you, so just wanted you to know that that's what it will be. It will be a full length one. So again, we've got ovals. Now this time, this oval is from the centre here, but this oval is actually from the centre of this one, because this cuts an inner like this, but it also embosses, and if I just hold that up, I think you'll be able to see the embossed edge all around the oval there, which is really pretty. So we've got this lovely night of navy, balmy blue and polished pink colour combination here. You can see we've got a subtle pattern on the other side. Let me just take those out for the moment. And again, I'm just going to stick this on nice and simple to our card front. And it doesn't really matter too much with these. They're not really directional papers, which is great. It means that you don't have to worry about which way up you put things. Right, so let's have a little look. So for this, again, I'm going to be using the new stamp set, the framed florets, and I'm using the wishes for, which I've already got on a block here because I was using it earlier. So wishes for a beautiful birthday, and let's just bring in our mat again, and I went a little bit sort of high just underneath the mistletoe with the last one. This one's going to go on a little bit more central. So again, I like to just get that on my grid so that it's around about even, and then I can see that that straight text for a beautiful follows the line, the grid line behind. There we are. That's that. Hi Marsha, I've just spotted that you're watching. Thank you for stopping in and watching with me. Right, so a couple of choices. You can pop this up on dimensionals on here. I'm actually going to do that with this one. You can just adhere that flat to that and then pop that one up on dimensionals, or you can put both up on dimensionals, and I'm going to do both. And we'll just have one in the centre just for a bit of extra support. I know that I can usually get away with 2 layers of dimensionals if I'm sending through the post in the UK. But I don't want too much bulk over and above that. So there we are. That's that. And I can just land it back again. And again, I'm just going to pop this fairly central, side to side, and even top. Right, so one that I did earlier, it shows it with the actual bow, but I know that a lot of people have trouble with bows, so I just wanted to show that it's very simple to just tie a knot. You don't even need as much ribbon, but use the ribbon that's in the make and take pack, and just then cut it to whatever size you want. You can pull that tighter or leave it loose depending on what you like. And I really need to clean my scissors with that rubbing alcohol. And I'm just going to cut these on a diagonal to a point, just to give it a little bit more interest. and I like to use a glue dot for attaching. With fabric, you really do need a dry glue, not something like the multi-purpose, Tombow multi-purpose glue. And I just find that a glue dot is a lot easier to pick up. So I'm actually going to pop that just there at the top of the white, but you could put it behind. And then I'm going to be using these little gems, enamel dots. Let me bring it in. So you get a full sheet in different colours, and these are in the main catalogue. Let me grab the right page. So this is the Glossy Dots assortment that are in Gorgeous Grape, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight and Pool Party. But they're very forgiving in terms of those shades. This is not Melon Mambo, this is Polished Pink, but it's just kind of a darker shade, so it works well. So I'm going to just pop these on. Move those out of the way. Somebody watching one of my YouTube videos the other day said about using the putty to pick these up. I find it quite difficult to shift them just using the putty, so I tend to like to use the pointed end to just get underneath to pick up the glue dot as well. That's the other thing, that sometimes if you use the putty it can pick it up and leave the glue dot behind, which obviously you don't want. But whatever system works for you, because we all work differently. So if you prefer to use the putty end to pick your dots up, go ahead and do that. And that's the outside. And then for the inside, I'm going to use another stamp, which I've already got here, that says for a special person on a special day. I've got a little sliver of paper which I'm going to put at the bottom here. This is a different pattern again, but I quite like that it's still those fronds. So the Stampin' Up have been kind of consistent, and I was going to do that, and that's not a good idea. I always stamp first, because if I stamp wrong I can always flip it over, but if I've already added the paper I can't do that. So I'm using Polished Pink again, and I'm going to stamp this about halfway down, and again keeping the capital text, as it were, straight with the background. And I'm going to take this lovely bouquet style stamp and stamp this above. Now this stamp has got a matching die for it, so you can die cut it out, which is really beautiful as well to work with your ovals on the front of the card, but you can also use them for inserts. And of course that could be stamped with Memento ink and coloured with blends. And where did I put my little, there's my little strip of paper. So I'll put that on there. Oops. And I just want that near the base, like that. And we'll turn that over. Like that. So I've really been working very much with the papers just recently, these Fitting Florets DSP, and just realised that that's overhanging a little bit, so let's just trim that before I put the rest of that down. Should have noticed that first. There we go. So yes, I've been working with the papers because they're not going to be around for as long. So you can see you can do a bow, but it looks pretty with a knot as well. So if you struggle with bows, don't put yourself through it. Just tie it in a knot and add it that way. Okay, so we're going to move on now, and we're moving on to different items. So we're going to be working with, let me find my catalogue, where have I put that? There we are. Here, we've got it ready. So we're going to be working with the, this is part of the Christmas lights, it's the Twinkling Lights die set. We might bring in the stamp set, but I'm mainly using the dies tonight, and I'm actually using the background paper that we've got here is from a totally different suite. It's from the Storybook Gnomes, and this DSP is great because it's got quite a few different snowflake designs. So we're using this one, but you've also got a smaller snowflake design against Pacific Point there, and one that's Pool Party there. So it's a really great one to work with snowflakes. And I've used Pacific Point for this. And I've die cut the snowflake out. Now, I want to show you how this can work for you. So, let's just put these to one side for the moment. What I've got here is actually two dies. There's an outer that cuts the shape of the snowflake, and then there's an inner that is doing all the detail, all these little punched out bits. There's a bit there that I've missed. So it punches out all of these little bits, and it even embosses some little stars and V's. Now, I like to keep it that way up because this one and this one don't have the die cut V. So I like to keep things symmetrical. That's because I'm a little bit OCD like that. But just want to let you know, so that if you're like me and you like things to be spot on symmetrical, that's how you're going to want to do it. I have held these, I've positioned these and held them together with some washi tape. You could just cut the outer and then position on the inner, and you're probably going to still need to tack it down with washi tape or a post-it note. When you come to press them out, you do need to take some care. It does tend to stick in the die a fair bit. I've loved doing these cards with these snowflakes, but they are a little bit fiddly, so I wanted to make that clear tonight, that you're going to need to be gentle when you pull these out like that. And I will now just take these apart so that you can see what I was talking about. I'll have to take all my washi tape off, and again I'll be getting my rubbing alcohol out to get rid of any tackiness. But you can see now the outer part of the snowflake and the inner part of the snowflake. And this die set has got a few bits like this, the Twinkling Lights. It's also got this Christmas tree, which does similar. So that is going to cut you some little indentations, twinkling lights on it, as well as the outer. So it's a lovely die set, really lovely, but it is a little fiddly. So like I say, just like you to be aware, because if you have any manual dexterity problems, it might not be the best stamp set for you. Now the other thing is that when you do get this, pull this out, you're probably still going to need to do a bit of poking out of all these bits. Now I do have a brush, and I can't quite see it on my desk at the moment, but to be honest, I find that I need just sort of the needle tip of my pokey tool to get all the bits out. The brush, these bits are quite well in, so they do need a bit of coaxing to come out. So there is our main snowflake, and we've also got a circle. This is from the Layering Circles dies that I'm going to put behind this, really just so that it stands out and shows up well. So I'm going to pop this on now. You can see the toadstools that we've got on the back. Very simple to do again in terms of just popping this on, and again I've got a bit that's cut off the front, a bit of DSP that we're to save for the insert. So we'll pop that on there like that, and let me bring in the finished version to show you. So I'm going to use the stamp set that actually goes with the paper here, which is the Kindest Gnomes, and I'm using the Warm Wishes. Sort of contradicts the snowflakes in the background. So, and I'm going to use Pacific Point ink because that's the card colour that I'm using. Now where's my small block? And because this is red rubber, I don't need the mat below it. So I do like to stand up so that I can see what I'm doing, where I'm stamping. But if you do make a mistake, there's two sides to the paper, or card as it happens to be in this case. Now I've used the double oval punch, which I love. It's a great tool in the toolkit. And I'm just going to adhere this one direct. Again, you could pop it up on more dimensionals for many layers. But I'm going to pop that on there, and that same oval punch was used to punch the background just there. Now I'm going to just adhere this with a glue dot in the centre. Actually not just a glue dot in the centre, I'm going to pop a couple of extras on, but now the thing with glue dots is they stick to my fingers better than they stick to anything else. So stay. Yep, you're not going to, are you? Right, let's get another one. This is why I tend to pick things up pick glue dots up by pressing the card to it. Now, like I said, there's a couple top and bottom that don't have those stitch marks, and I'm going to pick up the glue dots there. A bit difficult to see these. There we go, I've got it on that side, and then on that side. So we're not going to have an awful lot holding this down, but we should be okay with it. Those glue dots, like I say, they're super sticky. So there we are. So I'm now going to pop these up on my card front, and I want dimensionals for these. And that should be fine for that. And then we should just need a couple on our sentiment. Right, so I'm going to put my circle on first. And like I say, I want to keep that top and bottom. So let's just pop that on like that. And then pop this on below. Like that. And we're back to, yes, the reason that the dots aren't in with this pack, because I've put them all in here. So we're going to be using a couple of dots for our last project. Let me show you the last project. So this is the last project, and I've used the two large ones on here. So you've got lots of dots to choose from. Again, these are that same sheet of glossy dots, and I'm just going to use a large dot here in the centre, put that into the centre like that, and we've got 6 of these around, so I'm actually going to use 3 medium and 3 small. So there we go. Right, so I'm going to pop one there, and then I'm going to skip one so that I make sure that these are even around, but they do not want to go where I want them. There we are. And skip one again and put the other one there like that, and then I'm going to take these little ones and put these in between. So you might have a few of these dots left over. You're welcome to use them elsewhere on the card or save them for another project. So there we've got our dots, and we'll pop that to one side in the next project. And for the inside, I'm just going to use another sentiment that says Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So let's just peel that off. Actually, that's not big enough, is it? Peel that one off. I do all my cleaning afterwards. Right, so I'm going to stamp this and I've pressed a bit too hard at the top, but I think that'll be okay. I think we'll manage. And then the bit of leftover DSP from the front is going to go on our insert, something that I do regular. Like that. And then I'll just show you there's another option if you don't want to die cut the whole thing. Got a few little bits of so if you don't want to die cut the whole thing like this, if you've got the stamp set, then you can stamp the snowflake and then die cut it out, or die cut and then stamp over the top. Because it's red rubber, I would generally suggest stamp first then die cut. If you've got photopolymer, it's fairly easy to die cut and then stamp over the top, but when you can't see where it's going to be exactly, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. So I recommend, with red rubber, stamp first then die cut. So that's, I'm going to use that in a minute anyway. So right, so that is our third card. And now the final thing is not a card, this is a tree hanger. I do a version of this every year, I think. If not in the online workshop, then elsewhere. And what you've got in a make and take pack for this one, we've got a little bit of ribbon for the hanger, we've got layering circles, and I've cut a scallop circle for the outer, then we've got a plain balmy blue one, and then we've got, it's the same die set, the Twinkling Lights die set that I was talking about here. We've got a little snowflake die here for this. So this one I decided to do plain. I'm now going to have a go at stamping this. If you've got some little snowflakes, actually I won't use the big one, I'll just use the little stars. If you've got some little snowflakes, then you might want to use them for this. So I'm just going to, I've not got the backing on this stamp, just been too busy. So, and actually what I was going to do, I've decided that I was going to stamp around this. And you do want to, I do need to stand up. Just be careful, I pressed a bit hard on one of those. There we are. Now, when you do this, you've got choices, lots of choices. I've done this one with two sides the same, but what you can do is leave, if you want, one plain and write on it for who it belongs to. So if you have arguments in your house about who gets the tree decorations, then it might be an idea to put people's names on them and try and avoid some of the arguments. If you wanted, you could stamp the bigger snowflake onto the scallop circle. Right, so while those are drying, now we'll start putting this together. I like to use my tear and tape for this because it kind of does two jobs at once, holding, where have my scissors gone? There. Holding the ribbon and holding, as you'll see in a minute, where have I put those? Here we go. What we're doing is we're sandwiching a gold coin between the two circle halves. So I, in this case, have used Asda milk chocolate coins. You can get milk chocolate coins from most confectioners and supermarkets, etc. at this time of year. If you don't want to use the coins, then something like mints, the chocolate mints, go between quite nicely. And of course, if you're not wanting sweets or chocolate, then you could just do this as a plain ornament back to back. Right, so I've got one set done. Let's do another. So we need on the back of these. And I really do need to clean my scissors. Now that the rubbing alcohol is out, I will have a cleaning session tomorrow. Right, so I've got those on. So what I do is peel the backing off these. And if you have difficulty, just again use your take a pick tool to get under a corner. So what I do is just make sure that that is stuck to a couple of bits of the tear and tape, then pop the chocolate or mint or whatever it is over the top like that, and then we're going to peel these ones off. Now the only thing with the next bit, you can lay it out and do it that way, but I prefer to just hold that down in place like that and then line this up over the top. These are dinky scallops, so it doesn't make a huge deal of difference if you don't get it exact. But if you've got something with a larger scallop, it can be a bit noticeable. So there we've got our basic hanger, and with these again you've got choices. I popped the blue up. This time I'm just going to stick the blue on direct like that on one side. Like I say, if you want to leave things off this side and write on that for whose it is. I'm about ready for a new tom bag. So you, like I say, you can have two sides the same or not. So and I just want dimensionals again. I'm going. You could put, again. You could put these flat. If you don't have circles, you're doing this at home, you can go with squares. It really doesn't matter. It's however you want it. And whatever you've got in your store cupboard, there'll be something that you can use to make these tree hanger ornaments. And then I'm just going to use the large ones of these in the centre. And again, I could have die cut or stamped on these little snowflakes as well. They don't have to be snowflakes. Whatever you like to decorate your tree with. So there we are, we've got our tree hanger. So tonight we've made a tree hanger ornament, a Christmas card, birthday card, and another Christmas card. So I hope that that's given you some ideas for using the Fitting Florets collection, which, like I say, I think it's a wonderful collection. And if you hadn't really paid them much attention, then the twinkling dies and the Christmas lights stamp set. Is it twinkling lights dies and Christmas lights? They come as a bundle, so you can save 10%. They're great, but like I said, it's also actually the Kindest Gnomes paper that's in the background there. So just a little recap: if you'd like to place an order with me, then if you place an order of any size, you'll get a thank you card. If you place an order over £30, then you're going to get the Ideas tutorial bundle as well. And let me just show you my contribution to the tutorial bundle is this set of 4 cards. So you'll get the instructions in the tutorial bundle to make all 4 of these thank you cards. Of course, they don't have to be thank yous, but we're doing our tutorial bundle this month is all about giving thanks. So I did thank you cards, and if your order is over £50, you'll get a thank you card, Ideas tutorial bundle, make and take pack like this. If your order is over £70, then you get all of the aforementioned, and you get a pack of 6x6 DSP papers, so that can keep you going for a little while. So the code is in the information in the feed for this if you want to place an order. If you need any help placing an order, please just message me and I will give you a hand, no problem. I'll be back again the first Wednesday of next month, which is December, crikey. So I'll be back then. You've got a few days to place an order if you want to get the goodies from tonight. I do ask for orders to be in with me no later than Sunday night so that I can place the order on Monday. Okay, so thank you very much for stopping by with me. I hope you've got some inspiration for your own card making and projects to keep you going for a little while, and thank you for stopping by.